I think we have to begin with the election. That's the thing that's happening, so we ought to talk about it. I will let you go first. What did you think? What was your reaction?
I think the night was a tremendous success for Donald Trump. I think you arrived at this conclusion too, for Donald Trump. It would have been amazing if the Republican Party had been able to hold on to the House. One, because it would have been such a rebuke of history. Barack Obama in his first midterm election lost 63 seats in the House. Bill Clinton in his first midterm election lost 54 seats in the House. This is a trend that dates back all the way at least to Truman, and with very few exceptions. So all of the historical forces were pushing for a blue wave, and what we got was a purple puddle, and I'm a guy who sees the glass of leftist tears as half full, so I was very pleased and I guzzled them down. I did not expect to make such gains in the Senate, so that was a really nice win. Key governorships went to the Republicans, especially in Florida, especially Ron DeSantis against Andrew Gillum, who was a wacky socialist. He was a far progressive candidate, and DeSantis won. It's interesting that in a few of these races, the Democrat candidates have not conceded, even though they lost. This is true of Stacey Abrams, who's a very far-left candidate in Georgia, was endorsed by Oprah. And this is also true of Bill Nelson. I don't think he's given up yet either. All the better. I love it. Drag it out. Drag out those losses. I want them to take as long as possible. All in all, I thought that was a good win. The reason why it doesn't really matter that the Republicans lost the House is that we weren't passing any legislation really at all other than tax cuts. We would have gotten more tax cuts. I like tax cuts. I still like tax cuts, to paraphrase Brett Kavanaugh. And so that would have been nice, but do you like tax cuts, Senator? But, c'est la vie. We also are not going to get entitlement reform now. We were probably never going to get it anyway, so not a huge deal. The House hasn't been legislating very much. Most of President Trump's agenda has gone through the Senate, and it's been a very wonderful judicial agenda. Cocaine Mitch has rammed through originalist judges, and he's doing it even more like Scarface in that final scene. He just keeps getting originalists onto the federal courts. So that's terrific, and we're going to see more executive action. We're going to see more of Trump's foreign policy, which has been very good. All in all, a pretty good night, especially because Donald Trump now has an adversary. Donald Trump does very well when he's kind of just floating and having success. He's at his best. He shines with an adversary. There is no greater adversary than Nancy Pelosi. She's 175,000 years old. She was around St. Petersburg. She killed the Tsar and his ministers, and she's a great adversary. I think he'll be able to use her as a punching bag, for lack of a better term, for the next 2 years, and it'll probably help him into 2020.